Hello, welcome back to another video. Today I am starting a series where I will be giving grades to every Warriors player from the 2024-25 season, and I thought there's no better way to start this series than with the greatest point guard of all time, the greatest shooter of all time, Wardell Stephen Curry II. We're going to talk about all the good he did this year, the very little bad he did this year, and then giving him a letter grade of how he performed this season. So let's start off with the bad because let's end the video on a good note. Bad from Steph is that he started the season very, very inconsistent. Now, when I say inconsistent, I don't mean him having games where he'll have 2 points, 3 points, 30 points, 18, 2, 25, if you know what I mean. He was still averaging 23, 24 points a game for most of the season, but you could clearly tell that, he wasn't himself, something was going on, and it was, now that we realize it, it was the lack of help. But he was very inconsistent where he would have games where he had 2 points. He had a game where he had 9 points. He had a game where he had 11 points. And he wasn't, it was clearly a step down in scoring. It was clearly a step down in scoring from last year or previous years. So to take that into consideration with the lack of help is definitely something you have to talk about because it was not 100% his fault for that. Another thing is obviously him getting injured at the end of the year in the playoffs, which completely derailed our season. But that's also something you can't really blame on Stephen Curry. He played a full Game 7 against the Rockets, came back in the second round, and then 48 hours later and had 13 points in 13 minutes and was looking like he was going to have another generational series. Obviously, that got cut short due to injuries. But that's all the bad. That's about all the bad stuff I have for Steph Curry. Let's talk about the greatness of Steph Curry this season. Steph Curry had so many iconic games this year. I'm just going to start listing them out. Memphis Grizzlies, Orlando Magic, Brooklyn. These games, Minnesota. Minnesota. You could say all 3 games were insane. Lakers on Christmas, Lakers again 2 more times. He had so many iconic games this year, and we just take it for granted. He hit 4,000 career threes this season. No one has ever done it, and Harden is 800 threes behind him. He might not get to 4,000. That is how good Steph Curry is. That he's played less games than Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, all these guys, and he's so far ahead. Yeah, that's my reaction too when I saw the stats. So Steph Curry also hit 25,000 career points this year. He had 300 plus three. He had 300 plus threes again, and it's just amazing how he's 37 years old and he's playing this good at a consistent level. And really, you could say no other 6'2" 37-year-old point guard has ever done this. There's been point guards who have still been effective, yes, but not playing at a superstar level, making, 12 threes, 12 threes, 10 threes, 11 threes. It's unheard of for at this stage in your career, and you could say he has 2 to 3 years left in his career and he's still playing like an MVP caliber player. He finished top 6 in MVP and on the ladder, and it's just amazing to see how he keeps doing this. And it really just shows this is coming off an Olympics run. Steph Curry did not get as much rest as other guys because he was carrying Team USA along with LeBron and KD in the Olympics. And it's really awesome to see how he came back just maybe 2 months later and had another amazing season and got Jimmy Butler and proceeded to, average 28 a game for the rest of the way. We had some iconic nights against the Knicks, the Nets. He had games against Boston, which were great, and the Lakers, obviously, the Christmas game was iconic. And you feel for Stephen because you obviously, we all feel like we would have won a chip this year if he didn't get hurt. But like I said, that's in the past. But this was just an incredible season for Steph. It's obviously we can't say it's better than some of his past years, but that's only because the bar is so high when it comes to this man, because this man has so many, GOAT seasons: 2016, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2019. So many amazing seasons where you could say that one season is better than a lot of NBA players' careers. And it just goes to show how iconic this man is. And you know, people on Twitter, people on social media, me included, 100%. Don't say I'm not gonna say I'm not guilty of this. We like to do the who's better than who all time. We like putting people down. We like putting guys like LeBron, Steph, and KD down to try to bring the other one up. But now that time is now that time is kind of running out. LeBron maybe has 1 year left. Steph has 2 to 3 years left. Durant has 2 to 3 years left or whatever. We have to start appreciating greatness and realizing that in a couple years, these guys aren't going to be here anymore. And while yes, there's still a lot of talent in the NBA, you're never going to be able to replicate. There's never going to be another Steph Curry. There are going to be great shooters. There's going to maybe even in 100 years there'll be someone who breaks Steph Curry's 3-point record, but it won't be they won't be Steph Curry. What Steph Curry did to the league, what Steph Curry did for the game of basketball will forever be cemented in legacy because it's never going to change. We've obviously NBA has eras, right? We've had the sky hooks, the fancy passes, the mid range, the fadeaways. But I personally I do not see the NBA anytime soon, at least in the next century or whatever, changing how they play basketball because Steph Curry made the 3-point shot really the only shot that matters. In if you cannot shoot the ball, you are either going to be out of the rotation or you're not going to be playing much because you have to be able to shoot the ball to survive in this league, and that's because of Steph Curry. Because when he came in and when he started, exploding in 2013, it was the three. He broke his 3-point record in 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. Obviously, 2016 might not ever get broken again, but it's incredible to see that it's this. He's the reason why this happens. He's the reason why everybody is stationed. They run plays for a 2-on-1 for a 3. It used to be for a lob or a layup. It's for a 3 now. It's because of Steph Curry. And this year was no different. Steph Curry finished the year averaging about 24, 25 a game. He averaged 22 in the playoffs, but really, if we take away the 13-point game against the Wolves and maybe the 11-point game in Game 5, he averaged like 26. But Steph Curry, his grade is going to be an A for this year. You really can't. It's so hard for Steph Curry to go away from an A because he's just constantly so consistent. He takes care of his body so well. And he's dealt with a lot of injuries this year too. He had the knee tendonitis early in the year. He had the thumb injury for basically literally all of 2025. And obviously he had the hamstring injury, and the butt injury. He had an ass injury as well. So Steph was very banged up this year, and he was still putting on master classes all year long. And with more than a full summers of rest, like Steph Curry said, take advantage of the summer, get your mind right, get your body right, make sure he's good, and he'll be back next year and ready to put the league through hell again. So thank you so much for watching this video. Tomorrow, it will be Jimmy Butler's turn to be evaluated and to get his grade. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy this type of content, please leave a like, subscribe, comment if you want to see anything else, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.